Okay, hello, and welcome to this short tutorial on how to read serial data from a device. So I have here the mmWave. I have the mmWave in functional mode with the standalone modular mode. So I'm using this one. So hardware configuration looks like this. We have the board here, and I've configured these dip switches accordingly, and this has already been flashed with a binary executable for this board that allows it to work with this demo visualizer. So all that's been done and it's been connected. So the next thing that you got to do is I'm going to actually close this and open it again. Cool. So the first task at hand is to get the board to start outputting binary data. And to do that, we got to use this demo visualizer just for specifically this board. If you could get your board to output data, then you could skip this part. But basically what I have to do is I have to go to my device manager. I'm going to unplug this. Lots of things beeped at me. Okay, so go to your device manager and plug in the board you're working with. So specifically for the board I have, we have a couple of ports. We have the user port, and then we have the data port. And these are not labeled, so I actually have to come back over here and let me pause for a second. I gotta find it. Okay, here it is. So this top one is the user UART, and then this bottom one is going to be the data port. So if we take a look at mine, the enhanced one is the user port, and then the standard one, that's the data port. Okay, so let's come back over to the demo visualizer, and we're going to go to options, serial port, and so the application user, that's going to be given COM6, leave that default. The other one, of course, is COM5. We'll click OK, and it connects. Sometimes if it doesn't connect first try, unplug your board, plug it back in, refresh this page, just keep playing around with it until finally it connects. I had to try this a couple times earlier, but as you can see now, it's working pretty nicely for me. So with that said, just a quick reminder, this is just running with just this board. There is an alternate configuration for the mmWave IC boost, and I'm not using that here. We can do it, but I'm not using it here just for the sake of simplicity. And we're connected using this micro USB. Okay, so the board is running, and you'll notice on the right here, there's console messages. We can switch over to the specific board we're using. We can leave all this as default, click send configuration to mmWave device. We'll click it, a bunch of stuff happens over here, and then if you switch over to plots, you can see the radar is running. I can wave my arm over it. We're getting some sort of reading off of the board. This is great. So now that the board is running, all of these commands got sent to the board, right? I'm going to click down here and disconnect the board. So hardware not connected, but the board is still running. It's not connected over here, so all these plots stopped updating, but the board is still running. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up PuTTY, our favorite SSH serial terminal session. I'm going to switch over to serial mode, and I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to look at the user port first. So I'm going to go to COM6, and I'm going to use the same baud rate speed that was specified on here. So we're using the 115/200. Okay, so we're going to do 5200, open that up, and there's nothing. But if I hit enter a couple of times, we got something. So mmWave demo, this should look familiar to right here. You can see all this user interface was doing was scripting these commands for us. So there's a GUI, and the GUI is sending these literal commands to the terminal just like we have here. So you can see I could type on here, right? Push enter, it's not recognized. Cool. So now that we understand that, so we looked at COM6, let's also look at COM5. COM5 should be the data port, right? Right, so up here, serial COM5, and COM5 has a crazy fast baud rate of 921,500. I probably forgot. 921,600. 921,600. We'll open that, and craziness is going on. But this is actually the radar data. So this data that's like flickering everywhere, it's in binary form or in hex form. So it's coming in byte by byte. And the baud rate is so fast that, you know, even if we could see it, a freeze frame of this, it's just going by so quickly. So yeah, what this gibberish is this is how it was updating the plots over here. This is the data stream that was updating these plots. Okay, so this is all good. So we'll close this, and we can close this. We're going to work with COM6. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And I have here an example code. So this is using the Pi serial library. So up here I have import serial. I actually don't need that line of code. I think that was automatically put in. And then I added in this optional place to collect user input. And then we're just going to open a serial port, 92160, and then I have this code here. So serial in waiting. This is get the count of bytes in the buffer, and then this line right here, read a variable amount of bytes from buffer. So I'll run this, and then we're just simply printing the raw data. Okay, and just like that, we'll run this. And then I want to give it the COM port for the data, so that is COM5, and boom, we have our binary data coming in. So I'm going to break this, and if we scroll back up, these are the data frames of the mmWave radar. So this is a data frame, and in it holds the numbers that make these plots possible. So the next thing to do would be to look at documentation and figure out how to parse these data frames, these packets, to get the data out of it. Okay, thank you for watching.